So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. Get in the game, your moment of fame, show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up, it's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride. I'm ready to throw down, it's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise, don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We reaching the top, we reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We reaching the top, we reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'm never go back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
Fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got everything outside of both of them. Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up top.
Oh my God! Big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go. Oh no!
That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?
rolling out for the start of today's 400-lap race on this .625-mile racetrack. Here's the starting lineup. On the pole from Dawsonville, Georgia, in the number 9 Coors Ford qualifying and Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison.
Georgia, Bill Elliott straining car number 9 to bring it home. 10 car lengths. Bill Elliott, two-time winner of the Great American Race. Now the out of fuel Bill Elliott and Dale Earnhardt is going to win the Trans-South 500, his second win of 1987.
Welcome one, welcome all to a SimSpeed TV presentation here on the iRacing Esports Network. The Majors Series is back once again, and this time we're getting loose. It's the Knoxville Nationals, and this is the international division of the Majors Series. Drivers from outside Europe and America, and a few from inside Europe and America, competing in this particular division for the Mario Andretti Trophy at the end of the year. We are at the home of sprint car racing, the palace, the Wimbledon of sprint car racing. My name is Reese Gardner for SimSpeed TV. Joining me in the commentary box, Ryan Jones. And Ryan, I've been looking forward to this one for quite some time. 410 cubic inches, 900 horsepower, and a beautiful oval of Knoxville to go with it. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, good evening. This should be a lot of fun. This place, synonymous with sprint car racing. You can find the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum just off of Turn 2, and it is in iRacing as well. Of course, you can't go in and check it out in iRacing, but it is something that I think a lot of people want to see, and a track a lot of people want to visit when this whole thing is over with. Here in America, this is one of the most famed dirt tracks in the country and as well in the world. And it is looking slick out there at the end of practice, I've got to say.
Yeah, it absolutely is. That slick line is running pretty much all the way down the track through the turns and halfway down on the straight. So there's absolutely no grip out there at the moment, which is going to make putting the power down very hard. Knoxville is quite a high-speed circuit when it comes to dirt ovals, so it's all about keeping that control. Let's have a brief look then at where exactly this track is in the world. It's obviously in the United States, the biggest place for sprint car racing in the world and the home of some of the best drivers in when it comes to dirt oval racing. There is Knoxville just outside Des Moines in Iowa. You see the relative locations of Indianapolis and Chicago as well. Indy, where the famed Motor Speedway is. Right in the middle of the countryside, in the middle of a small town of Knoxville. There it is, the sprint car capital of the world. And you get a good perspective for what kind of facilities are available here for the drivers. Half a mile long, so it's right up there with big dirt ovals like Eldora and Williams Grove and Volusia Speedway Park. But a lot flatter than a lot of those tracks, and quite wide and long turns to boot.
Yeah, indeed, and it's going to be a very high-speed race, not only in terms of the actual lap times themselves, but our evening ahead of us. A format is going to compress actual action to a pretty short time frame and window. We have the option for up to, I think, 5 heats. You might only need 3 or 4 of them. They're 8 laps long. Top 3 will go straight through to the feature. Then the alphabet soup, an E, a D, a C, or a B main to set the rest of the grid and send a bunch of people home before the feature. Might only need the B main tonight. We've got 31 cars here in the international region for this event. Caution laps throughout the entire evening are on, and they do not count.
Exactly right. Newer feature simulating part of dirt racing. Once racing stops, lap counting stops. So the drivers will be able to get their full 40 laps of racing in for the A main tonight. And roughly half of the field will transfer through in the consolations if it comes to that. Let's take a brief look then at the championship standings. And the international division has belonged to Thomas O'Leary for the last couple rounds, but Will Leslie, with some excellent performances in recent rounds, fighting well there in second. The championship crown from last season is in the hands of Cameron Dance there in third place, and he didn't have the best of starts to this season, but slowly working his way up, and he's at a place which is going to be very familiar to him. Dance has competed in virtual sprint car racing at the World Championship level, so this is potential for a good points haul tonight for him.
It is, and this is a big opportunity for him to climb towards the top. In the sportsman, Stephen Williams holding a 40-point buffer over Gavin Barber, Martin Houston sitting in third. And then a pretty big gap back to the rest of our competition here in sportsman. Phil Otto and the rest in excess of 200 points adrift. And all of them running today in our top split, the only split. So they get a chance to get some big point hauls.
They absolutely will. And you see the Legends standings as well. Harold Stadler and Daniel Stevens are the main protagonists. They have been for much of the season, and they've had some titanic battles out there on track, with both of them suffering some rotten luck at times. So it's very close between those two guys. This is the Legends Championship for drivers over 50 years of age. And with the results that Harold Stadler and Daniel Stevens have been getting, they definitely show that age is only a number, like lots of things in racing.
Yeah, certainly. I think in sim racing, that age sort of bracket is higher than in real racing as well. Maybe even wider, because a lot of young fellows as well, which is good to see. And then, well, in the Elite Teams Championship, it's well and truly a one-horse race now.
Yeah, absolutely. Kinetic International has stamped their authority on this season. They definitely have the preparation down when it comes to making sure they got everything down for these very varied rounds. MF Racing have put up some great fights throughout the season, but they are trailing by a bit too much to really challenge for the team's title. And on the strengths of the performances of Dance and Stadler, TechSense Fitstyle Motorsport there in third, they've got a good buffer back to Avatar Auto Racing.
They do, and then in Premier, it's even more of a one-horse race. It's a 940-point buffer, although MF Racing looking to make it 1 and 2 because casuals, well, they're only about 60 points away from Kinetic International Junior here in second.
Yes, indeed. So we'll be waiting to see what the MF Racing casual boys do in this particular event, see if they can vault themselves up into that 1-2 in that particular set of team standings. They can certainly do it. MF Racing have shown that they really put a lot of effort into prepping for these events, especially on the oval side. You see Daniel Stevens up there at the top of the practice timesheets as the session is checkered flagged. Will Leslie in second there, the championship leader. Good opening campaign for the night, but now it's time to tick over into qualifying. Only 3 minutes of a session here, and each driver gets 2 laps to set a representative time for the start of the heats. And drivers already coming out on track. Knoxville is a circuit that you've got to be careful around in qualifying. It's not a circuit that you just point and squirt. You got to build up momentum over the course of a couple of laps here. So Daniel Stevens, who we take a look at on screen, already gearing up for his. And we can see quite a few attributes of this circuit that make it interesting, particularly the berm on the bottom, marking the inside of the turns. It's not quite visible when you're in the driver's seat. You really got to feel your way around the inside here. But if you hit that berm, you're up and around.
You'll definitely see it once you hit it.
Yeah.
You'll see the sky as well. As we ride on board Daniel Stevens, you can see it clearly from on board with him there as the sun shines down the track pretty beautifully, in fact. He goes second with that attempt, 300ths of a second away from Will Leslie. As expected, time to tight already, 800ths across your top 5.
Indeed, and Wayne Taylor just outside there in top 6, but Daniel Stevens going to the top there, 14.902. The time from him, and Trent Gosley immediately smashes it, gets into the 14.8. What can Shane Bowen do for Avatar Auto Racing? As we see Danny Vassell go to second, and Brett Gerards as well slotting in there. A lot of drivers coming good on their second or third laps. So Cameron Dance here, reigning champion, running the outside in order to get that momentum. You can really work the high line at Knoxville if you know what you're doing. What kind of time can Dance set? Not going to be quite fast enough, I think, for P1. Only 30th for the time being. It was an incredibly
slow first lap.
Yeah, I think he might be gearing up for a proper run on the second and third. That looks more like it. 14.908 for Cameron Dance puts him into the top 10.
Might still be disappointed with that one, though. Only being 10th, and Brett Wheeler, certainly someone known for his dirt racing exploits. There's a few of those guys in this field.
Exactly right. And Wheeler going to be setting a 14-second time there. Another 14.9. That puts him just behind Tyler Bish in 12th place there. A lot of drivers in the midfield setting those 14.9s. It shows that the times are very close. And Clayton Tilley with a 14.831, putting himself ahead of Trent Gosley there in at the top of the qualifying timesheets. And a lot of drivers we're seeing in this field competing in the ASC series presented by Oceanic Dirt Sim Events that we broadcast on SimSpeed TV on Thursday nights, having a bit of an extra run here at Knoxville before that championship goes to this track next week. We do have heat grids, though. They've all been sorted out, and it looks like we are going to get 4 heats tonight. The first one is as follows. Tilley and Hurley on the front row with Leslie and O'Leary on the second row. Sheridan and Burns starting 5th and 6th with Bradley Matheson sharing row 4 with Phil Otto. And it's Pierre Cousin who rounds out our 9-car field in this first heat. 8 laps, 2 formation laps. Let's go.
Yep. And of course, sometimes on iRacing dirt events, you see the cautions aren't used at all in the heats, but we will be using them here today. Of course, it's not going to have an impact on the total green flag running we see, but it might extend the race a couple laps in total for a few drivers. That might have a minimal effect in terms of what they need to put in the car fuel-wise, but don't expect any of those equations to come into play until we get down to our mains, our B and our A main, most notably are our 2 longest races of the night, as they should be. So we'll have 3 9-car heats and 1 8-car heat. No, actually, wrong way around. We got 1 9-car heat race and 3 8-car heats.
All right, so reasonable amount of cars on the grid for every heat here, and everyone going to get an equal chance to make their way into the feature. Got to remember, though, only the top 3 spots from the heats transfer into the feature. And with the quality of the field in this first one, I think it's certainly going to be tough. We got Thomas O'Leary, the championship leader. We got Will Leslie. We got Aston Hurley and Clayton Tilley from the dirt events. Dwayne Burns definitely has some experience in these dirt events as well. But we'll have to wait and see how they work out
Before
in a
we
racing
start,
situation.
take a look now and take note of what the racing surface looks like. Because when we get to the end of our A main, even the start of our A main, it will look nothing like this. And these drivers will have a vastly different track next time they go racing.
They absolutely will. With iRacing's surface model, cars drive around on the racing line. They start to compress the clay. They heat it up. They force it up the circuit with the immense power of those rear wheels. That creates the cushion, which is where the most grip is through the turns. And the drivers will have to find where that grip is over the course of the night. We're about to get a green flag, though. Clayton Tilley is going to lead them away here. Nice formation start. The green flag flies and we are away, and it's a pole start from Tilley on the inside. Aston Hurley gets him around the outside into turn 1, and they are flat out through the first couple turns at Knoxville. Very fast circuit, but Tilley already on the attack on Hurley. As we see an incident in the back, Phil Otto just came together with Alexander Sheridan.
Tilley went and then balks it down. It's like he started in lower gear, and maybe he went to shift up and it just didn't work for him. Either way, it was strange, and it has cost him the lead. He is now sitting second, and that early power back up to the rear end of Aston Hurley's faded ever so slightly. Looking to maybe look for a different line, see if he can get by him, or maybe just sit in and book that transfer spot with safety as he washes up the track there in the middle of the corner. And you can see how much of an effect that has as Hurley gaps him now. Interesting to note, they're running a low line at the moment. See how that evolves over the course of the night.
Yeah, that they are. And Tilley there, he was forced up the track because he hit the berm on the inside. The front left catches that, and you just bounce out of your racing line. You're already starting to see a small groove forming there. You see the darker clay going through the middle of the circuit. That's being thrown up by the wheels of the cars. Round to start lap 6. They're going to have 2 laps to go when they cross the line next, and Tilley still on the attack, forcing it into the turns, and Hurley going a little bit wide there to try and get a bit more of the cushion, more of momentum down the start-finish stretch, but Tilley right on the back of him. It's going to be white flag when they cross the line next at the end of this turn, and Tilley absolutely on the warpath, tries to go up the inside here. He's going to go for a move potentially. Hurley comes down, leaves him the room on the inside. Tilley's going to have to need the traction. Maybe a slide job in the final turn. No, it's not going to happen. Just tapping the brakes, maintaining the momentum. Aston Hurley takes our first heat victory of the night. Tilley and O'Leary join him on the podium, and they will all go through into the feature. It was quite a close finish between Bradley Matheson and Dwayne Burns as well.
Indeed it was. Pierre Cousin, by the way, never took the start of that race, as that grid you see on your screen is our Heat 2 grid. That's Trent Gosley. He's got the pole for this one. Sean O'Hara will start next to him, and now you can see your results from Heat 1. Pierre Cousin there, of course, 8 laps down. If he doesn't turn up, well, won't have an effect on his night, but if we go back to our grid for Heat 2, Gosley, O'Hara, Dance, and King off row 2, Matt Andrews and Martin Houston starting 5th and 6th, Vernon Wiley, Johnny Bell, 7th and 8th. I want to correct something I said. On that restart, when we saw that awkward start for Tilley, I said maybe he shifted up the gear and it didn't work. I do know these cars don't have gears, but for some reason my mind was... see, I did a dirt race today in the street stocks, that's why.
Yeah, true.
They
the
do have
stocks,
gears.
Yeah, with the 4-speed H-pattern transmission. But of course, sprint cars are direct drive. They don't have any electronic or mechanical components separating the engine from the drivetrain, except for one single lever to actually put it into that one gear. So use the entire power band of that 900 horsepower V8 engine But of course, it's an easy mistake to make. I think I still make it sometimes myself. You know, sprint car racing, definitely a unique form of motorsport when it comes to how the cars are set up.
This is our last lap. It is. Here we go to the green.
Yep, and that's a great start from Trent Gosley. Excellent start, actually. O'Hara now under pressure from Dance there. He's forced wide. A little bit of contact in the mid-corner. O'Hara has to gather it up, and Dance through into second. I'm seeing John King there running slightly higher, trying to get the over-under on Matt Andrews. Can he do it into the turn? No, they make contact. Andrews having to gather it up, and King is going to go through. Or is he? No, contact. They are both out, and the caution flag is out. So that's Matt Andrews and John King with some very heavy damage, and King, it looks like, is out because his car not on its four wheels.
Into the corner. Andrews was committed to taking his line coming down to the bottom. They made contact on the entry, and then right there you can see it. Pushes Andrews up the track. King gets down to his inside, and they come together again. Big impact for both of them. And a third car, Johnny Bell, coming through and getting a piece of that as well. Looks like he might have escaped without too much damage.
Looks like he might have, and we'll see his view of it. So there go King and Andrews coming together, and Bell just goes right through both of them. There was contact made, but these sprint cars are built like tanks. They can survive quite the beating. So fortunate for Johnny Bell to get away with that, and he has an extra position, extra 2 positions perhaps, for his troubles. Matt Andrews rejoining there at the back of the grid in 7th. So lights still on the pace truck. They should come off when they come to the end of this lap, and we'll be able to go racing again very shortly with 6 more laps to go.
Reckon we might finish our A-main under the guidance of the lights. Looking at how low that sun is in the background. It is, what is it now? Just a little gone 8 p.m. in sim time.
Yeah, very blazing sun coming down over the horizon on the back stretch where the Sprint Car Hall of Fame is located. Definitely has the potential to blind you if it's in the wrong place, and that's one of the things you have to be wary of in dirt racing is visible light. Trent Gosley's not going to... Yeah, Trent Gosley is not going to have any problem with that. It's a nice clean start from him. They restart single file. Cameron Dance staying with him, as well as Sean O'Hara keeping them honest there in 3rd. Vernon Wiley in 4th is going to have some trouble. He is missing his front wing. So look forward to seeing potentially Martin Houston, Johnny Bell and Matt Andrews come up on him, but they are quite busy battling themselves. Andrews trying to get past Bell there on the inside, and Bell covers him off pretty good.
Yeah, the higher line working well for him, able to carry the momentum a little bit better. Of course, the lower you go, the sharper your front wheels have to turn initially to help you get hooked through the corner. And that's why, as the cushion moves up, so do the race cars, because, well, the straighter you keep the car, the faster it goes, to be blunt. As Dance dropped the fence there.
Yeah, slight little tap for Cam, giving a bit of an advantage to Gosley as the penultimate lap begins. You see a bit more of an aggressive turn-in from Sean O'Hara in 3rd.
Got it again.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Very early turn-in from Sean O'Hara, but Cameron Dance holding that consistent line. And there's a caution out. Looks like might have been Vernon Wiley. Yeah, Wiley in a crash there, and that was with Martin Houston.
This will give us a 1-lap dash to the checkers. It was just before we reached the white flag with our race leaders as we look at our Murdum simulation replay. Up top, Vernon Wiley got unceremoniously pushed out of the way, I guess. Elbows out from Martin Houston as he slid up into him.
Yeah, Vernon was running a bit wide there, went to turn in. Houston had the inside, but just went up the track a little too much and tagged Vernon, so up into the wall he went. Fortunately, he is still running, although he is having a bit of trouble keeping the thing straight. Fortunately, he should be able to see the checkered flag.
Well, he's actually gone up and given a serve to Martin Houston under the caution here.
Oh,
To voice
he
his
did too.
displeasure. You've just seen that on your replay.
I did.
And I don't think the Major Series admins will look too fondly upon that.
Yeah, not very good at all. I mean, I'm sure Marty didn't mean that. He's usually quite the clean racer. It's just a case of getting the turn in slightly wrong and then moving up by just a car width. That's all the difference it can make. It's very easy to have the red mist take over in short, sharp races like this, but you got to remember, a lot of drivers are just out there to try and be as clean as they possibly can. So, lights off on the pace car now. It's going to be a one-lap dash towards the finish. Trent Gosley is going to have to get this inch perfect if he wants to defend this from Cam Dance. Cam is staying right there with him, and it's an all-right reaction there off the start, but Gosley with the advantage, and Dance riding the cushion. Sean O'Hara continuing to fire it into every single turn, but final lap for Trent Gosley. He is going to get it. Your top three across the line, Gosley, Dance, and O'Hara, and Matt Andrews making his way back up into 4th place from that 6th place restart, managing to just grab the position from Martin Houston at the line. So Gosley, Dance, and O'Hara move through into the feature. Now it is time for the 3rd heat of the night, and this one is quite interesting. It's got our Legends Championship leader in it. Brett Gerards and Michael Skurlock are your front row, with Tyler Bish and Harold Stadler on the 2nd row. Wayne Taylor and Gavin Barber on row 3, with Mick Wilson and Matt Clote rounding out your 8-car field for this one.
It's been an interesting field, this one. Quite a few of these guys are very good on dirt. Brett Gerards, I think Wayne Taylor, Harold Stadler as well. Skurlock is good on ovals, but that's more the paved type. See how he goes on the dirt stuff today. 2nd place for this heat puts him in a good spot. As we've seen very little actual passing so far in our heats. Only 8 laps long, which means you don't get many opportunities. But at the moment, it is just a little bit hard to make those overtakes stick. So that qualifying time, although it doesn't book an automatic spot into the feature, is proving very crucial.
That it is, and I think a lot of it is down to the nature of the track, especially now that it's only just been worked in a little. Knoxville has very wide, long, open, very gentle corners. So the usually passes in sprint car racing are done if the driver in front makes a mistake, or you use the tightness of the corner to your advantage, get some rotation at the apex, and you can get the slide job on as well. But it is a bit harder to do here at Knoxville. It's just so fast and so gentle that you really need to be aggressive if you want to try and make a pass on your rival. Here we go then. Green flag will be coming out. Brett Gerards goes early before the green flag. We're racing in Heat 3. And for 2nd, Tyler Bish trying to go up the inside of Michael Skurlock, but Skurlock riding the cushion beautifully, gets the momentum and keeps the position. You see a slick line forming way down on the inside as the drivers move up the circuit, working at the cushion still. Tyler Bish not done with Skurlock at all, but it looks like it is on for 4th place. Harold Stadler fighting off the advances of Wayne Taylor and Mick Wilson.
That slick line is pretty much where the rear tyres were situated for the drivers down low in our first 2 heats. As Skurlock still under pressure from Bish, who doesn't need to gain this spot. He is going to transfer at the moment, but 1 spot here equates, I think, was it 3 spots overall, with all the other heats that are running as well. Good scrap for 4th place, though. Harold Stadler, Wayne Taylor, Mick Wilson. Taylor's moving around the racetrack, hunting for a way by. Trying to get to his right rear now. Oh, there's a little bit of contact.
Yeah, have a look at this. Side by side now, Wayne Taylor and Mick Wilson. So Taylor,
he slid up
he's
into
been turned.
over.
There we go. Wayne Taylor, hopefully he lands on his wheels. Oh, no. Not going to be able to. So we say goodbye to Wayne Taylor from that particular heat. That's going to deserve a replay because Taylor was putting in a fantastic drive to try and get around the outside of Harold Stadler. But Mick Wilson, of course, coming in here. And they ran pretty well for a couple of corners. But then you'll see Wilson just turn in a little too late and go straight up into Taylor. Smashes him.
Good example of why the fences are so high as well around the outside of Knoxville Raceway.
Yeah.
As opposed to some other tracks which have no fences.
Cough, Lernerville, cough.
Exactly right.
Yeah, can't help. It's Jay and I certainly have a lot of good things to say about Lernerville when it comes to watching racing. I can't wait to see it in the final round of the ASC series. Remember to tune into SimSpeed TV on Thursday nights if you want to catch some of Australia's and a couple of America's best online sprint car drivers. We'll be going to Lernerville for the final round.
There's 5 MFR cars in this heat.
There are indeed.
Brett Gerards, Harold Stadler, Wayne Taylor.
Stadler is Fitzsty.
Gavin Barber. I picked one of the 3 drivers that wasn't. I think Stadler used to be. Protect me there? No, he's been Fitzsty for a while. I know that now.
All
it's
right.
confusing with so many teams.
So it's Skurlock, Stadler, and Wilson, the only drivers in this field who are not MFR cars. We're about to get a restart here. It's single file, and Gerards leads them away in the MF Racing car. And we see just behind him, Michael Skurlock fending off Tyler Bish. Gerards getting an excellent start off the green flag. And Skurlock starting to get a little bit too far up into the loose dirt, just beyond the cushion, where there's a bit less grippy dirt. Tyler Bish really making a V shape out of those corners. He's going for the launch down the straight and trying to gain something on Skurlock coming into the corners, but it doesn't look like it's working for him. We've only got 1 lap to go, though. For Brett Gerards, it is white flag. He's lost a little bit of ground to Michael Skurlock over the last lap or so, but looks like it is not going to be enough. Gerards, nice and smooth from the get-go, takes the win in Heat 3. Joined on the podium by Michael Skurlock and Tyler Bish. They're through into the feature. Harold Stadler, Mick Wilson et al. Are going to have to make their way through the consolations.
Did they? I have 4 results there from Heat 3. And you can see a good race for those top 3 going through. So Heat 4, our final heat. 8 cars lining up here. Danny Vassell, Daniel Stevens, front row, that's MF Racing again. Brett Wheeler, Dean Mole, 3rd and 4th. Shane Bowen, Stephen Williams, Mitchell Bales, and Jonathan Ben. So 4 MFR cars in this one.
Yeah, taking up half the field.
Certainly stacks odd in terms of trying to get that win overall.
Yeah, absolutely does. And I think there's going to be an advantage here for Daniel Stevens if he can stay in that top 3. Pretty much guaranteed a better starting position in the feature than Harold Stadler, which is crucial for the Legends Championship battle. Remember, Stevens and Stadler separated by only 30 points in that particular sub-championship. So Daniel Stevens is going to have to keep it nice and clean in this one.
Yeah, they'll probably count down the start here. There's 2 MFR racing cars on the front row. We'll leave Brett Wheeler and Dean Mole playing guessing games to try and catch up to them and probably vie for that 1 transfer spot, because I do doubt that Vassell and Stevens will fight each other in this 8-lap heat. They'll want to secure the 2 MF Racing places in the feature.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think they'll be coordinating the start as well up to a point. They want to keep it as clean as they can. Don't run into each other. Don't make any silly mistakes. Don't battle each other too hard. Just get out there and secure those 2 positions. Staying quite close to the pace car as well, coming up to the green flags. This is going to be quite the quick start from these guys. In comes the pace truck. Vassell waits. Vassell waits. Vassell goes. And we are away for the final heat of the night. Great start from
Stevens.
Vassal, but Stevens not getting a great start at all. Brett Wheeler's already gotten him into the first couple turns.
Don't think that was counted down because Stevens has lost his spot. And reaction off the initial launch was very poor.
Very good for Brett Wheeler, though. He took advantage of that, timed it perfectly. So now he's got at least one extra starting position in the feature guaranteed if he can stay there. But for fourth on back, we're seeing a line of cars form. Shane Bowen, Mole, Williams, and Mitchell Bales, 4th to 7th, and potentially a move here between Mole and Williams as they come into the turn. Williams running the cushion, but Mole just keeping it a little bit tighter, which is helping him here.
Riding on board with Williams, you can see the different variations of the line. Oh, he's in the fence. Can he hold on to it? He can. But that's going to cost him a bucket load of time.
That it is. So now Mole has a bit of a gap left there to Mitchell Bales. That'll help him. Brett Wheeler hasn't been able to make a mark on Danny Vassal here for the time being. Fastest lap though, yes. But right now, it looks like Vassal is doing everything he needs to secure this heat victory.
He's quicker, but by about a couple hundredths, if that. And Wheeler doing the dance route of just kissing the fence as he tips it into the corner.
Vassal going for the early turn in and running the cushion in the middle of the corner. He might be practicing a couple of slide jobs for the feature on the final lap here. He's got the gap to Wheeler. Brett trying his best to work the inside there at the final corner, but Danny Vassal has done enough to take victory in Heat 4. Wheeler follows him, and Stevens holding on for third. So mission accomplished so far, at least.
Shane Bowen came home in 4th. Dean Mole in 5th place. Mitchell Bale, Stephen Williams, Jonathan Bean, the rest. So we're going to have a D main here. So D, C, and B set the grid for the feature. Starting off with just the 6 cars in this D main. There's your grid.
Yeah, Williams and Otto on the front row with King and Taylor, and then Ben and Cousin. We'll see if Pierre takes to the grid in this one, but it's the top 4 from this D main that will transfer through into the next Consolation race, the C main. And then again, it's going to be the top 4 transferring through to the next race. So, got to keep it nice and cool in these top positions. Only 5 cars taking the start, it seems. So, hopefully we shouldn't see any big incidents. The drivers wouldn't want to get into each other anyway. There's only one of them that is going to be eliminated from this.
Tough luck to that one person.
Yeah,
you don't want to be that one guy that gets eliminated before our C main. But someone's got to do it. Jonathan Bain will start in that position. John King, I think, is surprising to see him this low in 3rd for the D main. Yeah,
John, of course, having that incident in his heat,
of course,
which has resulted in him being here. King finished. Actually, I'm not sure if he actually saw the finish. He's classified at least a lap down.
Don't think
in
he did.
Heat 2.
And he got back out in the racetrack, had a fast spray up his sleeve, of course, but once you're a lap down, there's not much coming back in those heats.
Yeah, I mean, the tracks may be short, but the cars are incredibly fast. So once you're a lap down in dirt racing, it's very, very difficult to come back. Lights are out on the pace car. We'll see it pull into the pits, and we're going to be getting a start here for the D main. Stephen Williams is going to lead them away. 5 cars. Let's go. Good start from Williams, and immediately
Otto
Phil Otto having some trouble keeping that car straight, and Wayne Taylor blasts around the outside of him. That is not a great start for Phil Otto, and Taylor on the warpath here. He's going to go around the outside of King potentially. Have a look at this. King stuck on the slick gravel down on the bottom. Oh, a little bit up the racetrack. He finds some grip, but Wayne Taylor has gotten it done around the outside. He's into second, and now King under some big pressure from Phil Otto there for that final transfer spot.
That was a glorious run from Wayne Taylor. Phil Otto, as soon as he hit that gas on that start, the car just pitched sideways, and he had to have a couple grabs either end of the opposite lock trying to catch it, and that's put him massively on the back foot. It's actually put him fifth. He might not go through at this rate. He started second. Jonathan Baines has gone by him. He is really struggling.
Really is. The battle for that final transfer spot decided in Baines' favour, and he's starting to gap Phil Otto here, so I feel like this might be the last we see of Phil tonight. For the lead, it's still quite good for Stephen Williams, but Wayne Taylor making his way past King just a couple laps back, running at very quick times. His lap just then a 15.7, a 15.8 for Stephen Williams, as the gap is now under 0.4 of a second, and they got 2 extra laps here compared to the heats, so Taylor has a couple extra opportunities to try and get this win.
15.82, 15.759, edging closer and closer. See, they're all pretty much committed to that high line. Not quite up against the fence just yet, but getting ever closer compared to our first heat when they were all down low right against that berm. See, there's a bit of a narrow line between the slick and where the cushion is. Having to be very pinpoint and precise with where they put that car.
Yeah, they need to be. They need to make sure that the car comes out of the corners nice and smoothly. They don't want it to buck sideways or become unstable when they unwind the steering. Looks like Wayne Taylor's having an excellent time of it, going down to the inside on the slick. It's not going to help him in pace-wise. No, definitely not. Probably testing out potential lines for a slide job, but it is the final lap, and it looks like Stephen Williams may have just done enough here. It was a nice go from Wayne Taylor to try and get the victory, but Stephen Williams is going to take it here in the D main. So it's Taylor in second, King in third, and Jonathan Bain has managed to hold off Phil Otto for 4th place. So those top 4 there advancing through into the feature, or into the B main, sorry.
C main.
C main. I got it wrong twice, didn't I?
Let's take a look at our C main starting grid. Johnny Bell on the pole, Gavin Barber next to him, Mitchell Bales and Alexander Sheridan starting 3rd and 4th, Vernon Wiley, Matthew Clowett from 5th and 6th, and Stephen Williams, Wayne Taylor, John King, and then Jonathan Bain, 9th and 10th. 10 cars, 12 laps, top 4 through to the B main.
Exactly, and you see the temperature slowly decreasing there, 19-degree track temperature out there at the moment as the sun passes below the horizon. And the lights are now on all around the racetrack, and the drivers will likely be finishing this in the dark. So the 1-minute gridding period now done, and they will be led away. A bit of a slowish getaway from the grid for Johnny Bell, but it doesn't matter all that much. And the drivers will have been observing how the track evolved over the course of the Consolations. They'll be able to see that strip of usable clay in the middle of the circuit between the 2 slick lines. And drivers will be thinking, I can use some of that. One thing that we also haven't quite touched on is the ability to tune the cars while you're driving them. The big T-tray wings you see on the top of these cars, the driver can actually adjust the position of that wing on the fly. The further forward it is, the more oversteer and the more downforce you'll have. But if you set it further back, you'll have less drag and a bit more of a stable rear end in the corners, which is the kind of setup that a lot of drivers want to go for at a fast, gentle track like Knoxville. Of
course, it is all down to preference, though, and Vernon Wiley, by the way, has been removed from the race, so he will not take to the start in 5th place.
Yeah, and that would have been a decision made as a result of that retaliation against the driver in the heats. But we do have a green flag for the C main, and it's a bad start from Gavin Barber. Just did not get the power down like he wanted to. So Mitchell Bales takes second, as Johnny Bell holds on to that lead. But Gavin Barber already starting to use the cushion to advance his way forward as he tries to gap Alexander Sheridan. Stephen Williams, meanwhile, winner of the D main, stuck on the inside and facing a lot of instability there. Oh, and quite the incident for Matt Clote. Just mired back in the pack. We got 2 cars together. John King comes together with Jonathan Bain, and Jonathan manages to get back onto his wheels. King, it looks like, has managed to just get away with it too. No caution.
Very fortunate. That's good news for all of our front runners and everyone up inside the top 4 at the least. Gavin Barber's under pressure though from Wayne Taylor, who's not far away, running in 5th. They are teammates, so is Matthew Clote behind them. So MFR 4th, 5th and 6th for the final transfer spot, and now Taylor on that high side he works so well in the D main will work again as he goes up into 4th and knocks Barber out of the transfer window.
Yeah, Barber just a bit too far down to the inside. No grip, no momentum. Starting to fall under an attack there from Matthew Clote. So now that Wayne Taylor is up into the transfer spot, he'll calm down a little bit potentially, but he's still got Alexander Sheridan right in front of him, which is blocking him from that front battle of Mitchell Bales and Johnny Bell, who have been going at it for pretty much every lap so far. Bales really keeping Bell honest here. Looks like it's almost a move up the inside there for Bales, but just a bit too far down on the non-grippy stuff, while Bell rides the cushion to great effect, maintains the position and gaps him a little.
Keeping one eye on the battle for 3rd place as well. Alexander Sheridan goes down low. I think he slipped up on the exit. Didn't want to go down there. Moves back up top to cover off Taylor, who's all over the back of them. He wants to get alongside him, maybe try and slow him up, but might allow Barber to get by him as well. Remember that an extra 2 laps from what we had in our last race is now. He gets to the right side again. Up and against that cushion.
No.
Beautiful stuff. Give Wayne Taylor the top side, and there's nothing you can do about it. Sheridan slots into 4th. Now he's going to keep his eyes forward and not think about those guys chasing.
Yeah, he'll want to try and stay with Taylor here. Won't want to be too aggressive coming into the corners. He has the transfer spot. He will want to keep it. That battle up the top has calmed down as well between Johnny Bell and Mitchell Bales. And they are on at the final lap. Oh, seeing 2 cars come together in the back. Stephen Williams and Matthew Clote. That's a big crash between the 2 of those guys, and they managed to keep it on the wheels, so there's no caution. But up the front, Johnny Bell comes home and takes victory with Mitchell Bales and Wayne Taylor, your top 3, and Alexander Sheridan is going to advance through with them into our 14-lap B main.
So Wayne Taylor remains the only driver then flying the D main flag, progressing from 4th on the grid through there, 2nd in the race, 8th on the grid, 3rd in the race in the C main. Now he's going to start from the back of the B main as well.
Yeah, fun place to start from. There are your full results as we transfer through into the B main, which is going to have 13 cars on the grid. And it's headed up by Will Leslie and Matt Andrews on the front row. Harold Stadler and Shane Bowen share the 2nd row with Matheson and Houston behind them. Mick Wilson and Dean Moll 7th and 8th with Dwayne Burns and Johnny Bell rounding out the top 10 with Bales, Taylor and Sheridan joining them, tacked onto the back of this grid. Now they'll be wanting to advance as far as they possibly can, but we've seen how hard passing is around Knoxville. It seems like you almost cannot do it without coming together with another car. Having said that, we've seen that drivers like Wayne Taylor can certainly pull it off.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see how this one plays out. over the course of 14 laps. Now, there are 13 cars, and 12 go through. So once again, just like the D main, one person is going to miss out. Makes life a bit easier for Wayne Taylor to continue his charge from the bottom to the top of the alphabet soup.
Yeah, certainly does. But got to remember, we may not see all cars even make it to the finish. There's a slightly larger grid size as the night has continued on. So there's a bit more potential for drivers to come together in a racing situation. If a driver is within those top 12 positions and still retires from the B main, there's a chance that he might not make it through into the feature. So drivers just need to focus on keeping it clean, keeping it consistent, which is going to become harder and harder to do with the way the track is at the moment. You see the slick grooves down through the corners and the cushion up the top. Very, very thin margins around this place.
It's not easy, that's for sure. And then you consider the speeds these cars are doing as well. Around these corners in such proximity to each other. Definitely one of the harder forms of motorsport out there.
And we are away. An excellent start from Will Leslie, and once again, the first driver up the top having trouble getting the start going. Matt Andrews struggled with the rear end, putting the power down, but side by side, and a big battle pack for 6th place on back as I see Shane Bowen making his way past Bradley Matheson around the outside, but Mick Wilson stuck down on the bottom fighting with Dwayne Burns. And Bradley Matheson falling back into this pack now, so this is going to slow all of them up. Very tight quarters. Through goes Burns on Wilson. Oh, Matheson, sorry. Yeah, looking very messy.
Messy behind them as well. As they're 3 wide once again, slipping and sliding down low. Mick Wilson losing a lot of pace as Bradley Matheson that time by. Johnny Bell right up behind him. Behind them is the battle for the battle to not be last and for the one person going home. Amazingly, it's Wayne Taylor running 13th at the moment. He's not finding the speed he's had in our other 2 mains.
Yeah, it's quite interesting there from Taylor, just a bit off the pace of everyone else at the moment. I mean, he's looking at this battle right in front of him as Mick Wilson working his way up the outside, trying his best there, but Taylor having the view here.
Oh no,
Johnny
they saved
Bell.
it. No, they don't. Johnny Bell goes around, and that doesn't bring out a caution.
That's quite interesting there. So Johnny Bell stuck down on the bottom of the racetrack. He'll be out of this one, so goodbye Johnny Bell. Despite his excellent win in the C main, we won't see him in the feature, but it is on for that 2nd place spot because Will Leslie has gapped them massively.
Incredibly unfortunate because he wouldn't have had much damage, if any noticeable at all, from that hit, and with a caution he would be able to turn it back around and stay on the lead lap and still have a chance, but instead forced to take a turn back to pit lane. Really bad luck there.
Yeah, and this battle for 2nd.
Oh, that's a big hit.
That's contact, and we do have a caution there. Harold Stadler came together with Matt Andrews up on the top of the circuit. It looks like that might be Harold Stadler's night done. Modem simulation replay. You could see that getting involved in this battle for 2nd was Shane Bowen behind these 2 cars. And it is the teammates coming together in the Fitstye cars. There goes Stadler tumbling over. Matt Andrews goes along like nothing happened. But I think there's going to be some words traded in the team garage as a result of that.
We might have a race to get out of the pits.
Yeah, we will see.
Harold Stadler's had to take a tow. Johnny Bell took a tow. So, it could be a... So Johnny Bell's got going now. So he gets back on the racetrack. The bad news for him is, while they're lapping under the caution, these laps don't count. So he doesn't get any laps back on Stadler. So again, he's being really the unfortunate victim to the lack of a caution for his incident.
Yeah, indeed he is. So I highly doubt that we'll see Johnny Bell get through much further. We will see, though. It's going to be an interesting finish to this B main. Will Leslie has held that lead in the kinetic car for the entire distance and seemed like he had a good setup under him, knowing his way around this circuit in the state that it's in, completely untroubled from behind. So it's Matt Andrews in second with Shane Bowen in third. Dwayne Burns has managed to put himself up into fourth place. In comes the pace truck, and Will Leslie's going to lead them away again. A single file restart, and we are away straight up to the top for most of our drivers. Shane Bowen trying to work the middle a little, see what kind of grip is there, but it's not working. It's backed him up into his teammate, Dwayne Burns, and Mitchell Bales trying to follow them through here. Bowen's found his mojo, though, found the rhythm up there on the cushion, and he's starting to get it done. Seeing Mick Wilson and Alexander Sheridan try to advance behind them, but Mitchell Bales has got a face full of these guys, and very marginal there up the top. You see just how little grippy clay there is up there.
Not much at all right now. Howard Stadler, by the way, got back on the racetrack without losing a lap, miraculously. So he's in that transfer spot.
That he is. So if he can stay there, it will be some relief for Harold Stadler. See him there. Will Leslie with Matt Andrews behind them in the TechSense machine. They've got a little bit of traffic there in the form of Harold Stadler. It is white flag for our leader, Will Leslie. Looks like most of the field has spaced out. No big moves being made on this final lap. So lights to flag win here for Will Leslie. Exactly the result that he would want. It puts himself down on the A main grid. Joining him up there is everyone apart from Johnny Bell, who retires, well, doesn't retire, but is classified down there in 13th position. So everyone you see on this results screen gets their way through into the A main. And, well, we're going to go racing very shortly, aren't we? I'm looking forward to this.
Yep, this should be a lot of fun. Going to be a 40-lap feature with 24 cars ripping around this racetrack. Going to have a 5-minute warm-up before we get into that, though, just to allow drivers to shake off any cobwebs that they may have gathered up if they've been sat there waiting for a while. Guys like Aston Hurley, Trent Gosley, who have been waiting since the heats. Watching, waiting, learning.
Yep.
And they go racing again.
Which they will in about 4 minutes' time. In the midst of all of that, it's time for a very quick break here on the iRacing Esports Network. We are SimSpeed TV. This is the international division of the majors, the Knoxville Nationals. It's been an excellent run from many drivers tonight, but we have seen quite some heartbreak. We've got 40 laps of green flag racing coming up. Who's going to take it?
the field is rolling out for the start of today's 400 lap race on this .625 mile racetrack. Here's the starting lineup. On the pole from Dawsonville, Georgia, in the number 9 Coors Ford qualifying and Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison.
Georgia, Bill Elliott straining car number 9 to bring it home. Ken Carling, Bill Elliott, two-time winner of the Great American Race. Now the out-of-fuel Bill Elliott and Dale Earnhardt is going to win the Trans-South 500, his second win of 1987.
Love me some 87 NASCAR for sure. Need to give them a bit of a steer after this. You're watching the Knoxville Nationals, part of the international division of the Majors Series. SimSpeed TV here on the iRacing Esports Network, bringing you the 40-lap feature upcoming. Once again, I'm Reese Gardner. Ryan Jones joins me in the commentary box, and as the warm-up session comes to an end, and we've finally gotten a feature grid, we are certainly in for one heck of an ending to this night. Aston Hurley and Trent Gosley are going to be on the front row of this grid with Brett Geraerts and Danny Vassell in third and fourth. Clayton Tilley and Cameron Dance share the third row. Michael Skurlock and Brett Wheeler round out the top 8. Thomas O'Leary, our championship leader, starts from 9th place with Sean O'Hara rounding out the top 10. Ryan Jones, it is an excellent top 10 here, but there's much more competitiveness all the way down this field.
Yeah, 24 cars in total. Going off from 11th place, we've got Tyler Bish, Daniel Stevens starting alongside, and then Will Leslie and Matt Andrews on row 12. Shane Bowen and Dwayne Burns, 15th and 16th. Mitchell Bales and Alexander Sheridan on the 9th row of the grid. Wayne Taylor, Mick Wilson make up your top 20, making up the last 4 cars. D Mole, Martin Houston, Bradley Matheson, and Harold Stadler.
Well, last season we ran the Kings Royal at Eldora, but here we run the Knoxville Nationals at the magnificent Knoxville Speedway. And the fireworks well and truly out in force here. Fantastic way to start off a night of sprint car racing as the gloaming of dusk now fades into the dark of night. Hurley and Gosley on the front row. Cameron Dance, who won the first time we ran a dirt race in the Majors Series, but got beaten by Gosley in the Kings Royal last season, will be wanting a little bit more from that 6th place starting position, but he's certainly capable of finishing on the podium. Gosley with that front row start, he's going to have the advantage position-wise, but Ryan, we have seen that the outside line has much less of an advantage as the night goes on. It's just too slick up the top.
Yeah, those outside guys have not launched well. Certainly the ones in second place anyway. We'll see how it goes. Trent Gosley up there. He's so experienced. And he should be able to overcome it.
Certainly should. Pace truck is in. Wait to see if Aston Hurley decides to go early. He does. It's a good start. But Trent Gosley gets swallowed up by the inside line there. Brett Gerards goes through, and Cameron Dance already switching to the inside for a good run there at Gosley, and he is past him. Clayton Tilley, meanwhile, almost getting into Brett Gerards, and that's knocked back. One of the other cars is Clayton Tilley there, getting knocked back. It looks like he's managed to keep it together for now. Drivers running at the top and the bottom as we go through into this feature. Up the front, Aston Hurley having a great time of it, but it's a huge pack behind.
It is hungry and it is aggressive at the moment. Almost a big shunt, wasn't it? As one of them got up under the berm, but they held onto it. And Danny Vassell was able to clean them all up around the outside on the high side. Trent Gosley will settle into third place because Brett Gerards has not had a good lap. Down low, Danny Vassell goes by... Sorry, Brett Wheeler goes by up top. Clayton Tilley trying to force his way to the inside of Brett Gerards, who in himself is running the extreme low line.
Yeah, looks like that's where they want to stick at least Gerards, because there goes Tilley up to the high line to do what everyone else is doing as Brett Wheeler tries working the middle to get past Cameron Dance. And Tilley, it looks like, has managed to complete the move on Gerards and has gone down to the inside. So Tilley then up into sixth, but Dance powering around the outside there of Trent Gosley. Gosley a bit slow. That's a bit little bizarre there. Might have tried something on his car to change its behavior and it didn't work out. But
Danny Vassell's gone to the front.
He has too.
Gone
Working the outside
around Aston Hurley.
Great run from Danny, feeding the right rear to the wall, and got the most gap up there. Aston still stuck on the inside and not with the pace. He does have a bit more traction down the straights, you see, but Cameron Dance able to maintain more speed, more downforce. Oh, big fishtailing there from Cam up the top and into the wall for good measure. He is pushing incredibly hard and not having much success getting by Hurley.
Now he's got the momentum. He's really flirting with the limits up against that fence and finding them a bit more often than he wants. His slow car. Was that Vassell? No, it's Matheson who's a lap down. Really getting in the way there. Nothing you can really do about it, though.
Yeah, well, good driving there from Cam Dance to avoid making contact as he's now under big pressure from Brett Wheeler, who moves down to the inside. Aston Hurley slow down the bottom, so Wheeler has to switch to the top. Cam Dance covering the inside, getting the exit, but Wheeler with the momentum up the inside, he goes through into second place. Tell you what, Danny Vassell having absolutely none of this. He's out in front with no pressure, and the lapped car of Martin Houston almost making life hard there for Brett Wheeler. Certainly making life a little more difficult for Clayton Tilley as he makes his way through, but that is your second, third, and fourth. It's Wheeler, Dance, and Tilley.
Tilley again committed, low, not working as well as you would think. He goes back to the top side now, and the fighting as a lost cause on the bottom as he right on board with Cameron Dance, right behind that bright green machine that is Brett Wheeler. The gap to the leader, about 3/4 of a second. Danny Vassell trying to run away, starting to get run down by Brett, who goes down to the bottom, and Dance again is in that fence, working that right side real hard.
That he is, and Wheeler making up little gaps on Danny Vassell. Vassell a bit slow there up the top, going for the late apex. He puts the power down beautifully and gaps Wheeler again. They do have a lapped car down the bottom as Wayne Taylor down in 19th position. They all avoid him though by staying up the top. Wheeler goes to the inside, potential slide job, but not quite far up enough to make it work. He definitely works the bottom nicely, and Dance is now brought right into this top three battle, all of them flirting with the wall.
I reckon the fastest car might be the 1/3. Slowest is out front, as having to really duck low to avoid that slow-carded Vassell. Then he got held up by another one, and now Wheeler's all over the back of him. Where does he go? Vassal covers off the inside and slides it up to the top. Wheeler keeps it low. Dance has lost out a bunch through all this as well.
And those are all Cam's teammates around him too at the moment, with Dance making his way past Harold Stadler and Alexander Sheridan for Fitzstite. And there's a change for position back there as Sheridan lets Taylor by. But our top three well and truly together here. Wheeler going to the outside, and looked like Vassal had to back off a bit there, with Will Leslie down there on the bottom, giving Vassal the advantage. But Dance just into the wall once again, getting very bumpy up the top. Wheeler potentially going for another move here. Vassal going for the late apex again. They make contact.
No!
Vassal, and Brett Wheeler takes the lead as a result of that. Cameron Dance now right into this, and he takes second. So Vassal then stuck on the inside for that corner. Wheeler didn't quite get by Vassal cleanly, but he managed to get the job done.
Yeah, it was into the back of him he went, and just awkwardly sort of almost turned him around. Good job to hang on to it, but he's now 1.1 seconds away from the lead of this race. Now, what can Wheeler do without the race leader in front of him? Can he run away? And Cameron Dance chase him down, as they've still got lapped cars to contend with. Lap 21 of 40, so we can expect these guys to potentially get lapped again if we stay green right towards the end of this one.
Yeah, we haven't had a caution yet, so it's going to be quite interesting to see where it goes, but might have just ruined that having said that, because have a look at the pack of cars up in front of our race leader here. We've got, me, Stevens, Bales, Burns, Mole, all fighting down here around the slick. Wheeler's going to have to go to the outside here on Dwayne Burns. He is going to get held up, but Cameron Dance might get held up a bit more there in the middle of the circuit. Wheeler sneaks through. Yeah, where do you go? Martin Houston and Dwayne Burns going side by side, but Dance finds his way through up on the outside. Wheeler, though, has got a huge line of cars to deal with here, and he's suffered a bit too much oversteer. He's have to switch back to the bottom for the exit. He goes up the inside then of Daniel Stevens coming into the turn. He's got Michael Skurlock for company down there on the bottom. Can he sneak through? Oh, just enough of a gap there on the exit. And Cameron Dance follows him through on the entry into the next turn. But Wheeler is doing a fantastic job at the moment to deal with all the pressure. He is making mistakes, but he's got the cushion. He's got Dance on the inside, struggling for grip. Danny Vassal is right there as well.
I think Dance got held up just a little bit. Skurlock was very close to him. He couldn't cut down like he wanted to. You could see how much quicker they were than those guys, running up against the top, giving them much more speed. But you've got to have the confidence to go up there. It's pretty close to third and fourth as well in amongst this group. Danny Vassal and Clayton Tilley. Vassal's up top, Tilley's down low.
They got a lapped car in between them of Mitchell Bales down in 13th, but Clayton working that little strip of usable clay on the inside down at the bottom, and not having much luck with Daniel Stevens. He's going to have to switch to the outside as Vassal remains up there. Vassal, ever since that contact with Wheeler, he's lost touch with the top three as they continue to make their way around the outside past everyone else down on the bottom. Vassal, it seems, getting the advantage over Tilley now that they had just a little bit of clear air.
It's the lapped cars that are determining this race. There's a round almost in the background. It was almost a caution, but they held on to it.
Oh.
The gap's starting to come down again between our top two, who are running almost different lines every lap, hunting for grip, as the entire track starts to really slick out and become horrid to drive on. O'Hara and Bowen now going a lap down as well. Wheeler having to go to the low side, Dance opting for the top, then the bottom. Alexander Sheridan, Harold Stadler about to lose another lap as well.
Oh, slight mistake from Wheeler on exit, fishtailing down the straight. He just managed to get it together. Oh, Dance has a move potentially here. He's got a
tight, very tight.
Careful, guys. Dance with a little extra grip on entry. Has the inside, but Wheeler switching to the top and using the cushion to try and power his way out of the circuit. Cameron Dance, though, great opportunistic driving there. Just slotted it into that gap and now properly challenging Brett Wheeler for the lead of this one. but Wheeler has managed to get back onto something of a rhythm. He's focusing on his exits. That's what's keeping him ahead at the line, crucially.
Caution's
We got
out.
caution.
Oh,
All
no.
right. And that is Brett Geraerts.
I was going to say there weren't many laps cars left that were going to play a part with only 7 laps to go. But now there'll be none playing a part, and it'll be a straight-up fight. There's only 8 cars on the lead lap. Here's a replay of the incident.
Yes, indeed. So, Geraerts down there on the inside. He's making the contact with... just fired up into the wall. That was Dwayne Burns that he made contact with. Quite the bizarre incident, but once these cars lock wheels in the middle of a turn, they can go any which way. Burns was up there on the outside, and Geraerts just came up. Burns a little bit low. Just a case of 2 drivers putting down the power, and their trajectories were decided from about that point on.
Yeah, it happens often in dirt racing, especially in iRacing. Your visibility is not as good as you might want it to be, depending on how your setup is at home as well. So, unfortunate, we won't get a full green flag running, but it's still very impressive for us to get that far, especially with that mess that the leaders had to get through. That was fantastic to get by that.
Yeah, certainly was. Shows the amount of skill that these guys have and the opportunism present in their skill set as well. Well, within the last 10 laps of this race, see if they form up double file.
Be a single file.
Alrighty. Shall be in the last 10 laps of this race, and the lights are off on the pace truck. So Brett Wheeler's going to lead them away, but Cameron Dance showed that he had a great car for a slick track. He was working his way through very nicely. Will he have a proper shot at it in these final 7 laps of this race? Pace truck is in. Brett Wheeler now poised over the right foot. Away he goes. And Cameron Dance has managed to stay with him on that restart. Nobody getting quite a good start on the slick clay. They move down onto the bottom. And Brett Wheeler then switches to the top. Cam's still working the bottom, seeing what kind of grip is down there. Clayton Tilley suffering a little bit of oversteer. He's going to get swallowed up by Vassal on the outside. Vassal, of course, our pole sitter for the A main, but doesn't look like he's finding as much grip up there at the top as he used to. Brett Wheeler, I think, knows that because he switched back to the bottom as well as Cameron Dance has started to make a few advances.
He just can't get him. He's not got the raw pace, I don't think. He's been capitalizing on Wheeler's mistakes and the lap traffic getting in the way, but Wheeler now is keeping that car as straight as he can. Clayton Tilley close to the back of Dance, maybe going to challenge him as well. 2 to go, and we come across the stripe.
Yeah, and it's nice and smooth there from Brett Wheeler. Actually starting to gap Cameron Dance again, so it looks like this might be Wheeler's to lose. Cameron Dance, though, stuck down on the bottom as we see Tilley and Vassal battling up on the top. They have the momentum, they have the rhythm. Clayton Tilley tries putting a move on Dance, but absolutely no grip down there. Vassal goes by him. So Dance potentially under threat there for second, but for Brett Wheeler, it is the final lap. And only 1 turn to go for him as we see a potential move there. But Brett Wheeler is going to take victory here in the Majors Series at the Knoxville Nationals. Cameron Dance finishes second, with Danny Vassal just finishing 4 tenths ahead of Clayton Tilley at the line, and Trent Gosley, who started second, rounding out our top 5. Fantastic race to round off the night.
Fantastic indeed. How about that? 8th on the grid, 6th on the grid, finishing 1st, 2nd, 4th and 5th on the grid, finishing 3rd and 4th. A lot of jumbling in the order throughout the course of that race, and our front row sitters did not have a good go of it.
No, that they didn't. Aston Hurley, who started in first place on the front row there, and Aston Hurley finishing in 6th place, it seems, at the end of all of that. So the drivers dealing with the slicking up track. Certainly wasn't a track that a lot of drivers were happy with, but Brett Wheeler will certainly be happy with how things have gone for him. He pulls up by the podium in his number 56, waiting for the customary celebrations to begin. And a very sweet victory, I'd have to say, for Brett Wheeler. But crucially, Cameron Dance, 3rd place in the championship. He's gotten a good haul of points thanks to this 2nd place finish. The championship leader, Thomas O'Leary, only coming home in 8th, the last car to finish on the lead lap here. So that is certainly going to shake up the championship standings coming into the next round of the series. But now it's time for driver interviews. We got our feature winner, Brett Wheeler, in the commentary box with us. Congratulations, Brett. A win for you here in the Majors series after starting 8th in the feature. Looked like the racing got quite intense around the middle.
Yeah, trying to get through those lap cars was kind of tricky because they were racing for positions there themselves. So I kind of just had to get up on the wheel and sort of get aggressive, but not too aggressive to where I'm going to end their race. So we got through it fairly quickly, and just super pumped to come away with a win.
I'll bet you are. And thinking of that lap traffic in the middle of the race, noticing your car behavior and coming off the restarts as well. Drivers on the outside having a lot of trouble on the slick groove here at Knoxville. But it does seem like a circuit as fast as this can result in quite the unstable car when the track evolves enough.
Yeah, if you don't have your car, set up all that well, you can get real loose, and even if you pull the wing back to -10, that can sometimes help stabilize the car. But we had a good piece tonight, but we done some practice throughout the week on a similar track to like this, and we sort of if we came in tonight, if we get the track like we did earlier on in the week in one of those practice races, I knew we'd be good for the 40 laps.
Well, you came away in the top spot, and just getting your thoughts on the little tap with I believe it was Danny Vassal at the nearer towards the start. Racing really hard, racing fair.
Yeah, Danny sort of said he just got loose. I guess I just sort of got a run on him as well. So I tried to back out of the throttle so it wouldn't completely turn him around and end his race. And I'm still happy that he came away with 3rd after the contact. And same thing with Cam Dance as well. When he sort of snuck up on the inside, I didn't realize he was there. I actually thought it was a lap car, and I was trying to go between the middle of the 2 cars and try and slide up to the cushion in 1 and 2. And again, thankfully that Cam was able to keep the car going straight, and he really put it to us there. And that yellow was kind of a blessing as well, because I think I was going to be very close on fuel.
Righto. Well, nonetheless, you had just enough to get through to the finish, and now on the top step of the podium, is there anyone that you'd like to thank, Brett Wheeler, before we let you go?
No, absolutely. Obviously, you guys for putting on the broadcast and the stream, Mike and everybody for putting on this major series. I didn't get to do last year's one at Eldora, but again, that was just my own and not reading the rules. So coming into this week, I sort of asked a lot of questions, dotted the I's, crossed the T's, just do what I had to do to make the show. And obviously the guys back at United Sim Sports, everybody there that helps out, Valvoline, Too Easy Finance, West End Mazda, Parramatta, Isuzu Ute, Ultimate Dirt TV, and of course Origin Graphics.
Brett Wheeler there, feature winner at the Knoxville Nationals in the International Majors. 2nd place, meanwhile, Ryan, was our reigning champion, Cameron Dance, with a very strong 2nd place finish. You stood by with him.
Cameron Dance, 2nd, after starting from 6th. You came 2nd in your heat as well. Close, but no cigar throughout the whole evening, really.
Yeah, but hey, at the end of the day, considering who rocked up, it was pretty good to come away with 2nd. I mean, you've got the likes of Brett, Danny, Clayton, Trent, Aston, Tyler, all very quick dirt drivers, as we've seen in the likes of the ODSC 410 series and other various dirt events. So it's pretty good to come away with 2nd. But at the end of the day, the main goal was just to secure some decent points. I mean, the fact that Thomas finished 8th and Will were a little bit further down the order in 15th is really helped us in the championship and probably going to put us in the championship league, hopefully.
It didn't look like the easiest race for you. Obviously, the track was difficult, but you hit the fence, I think, more than anyone else out there today. Every time we looked at you, you seemed to be nabbing the right side into that fence on the entry or the exit. Just a case of comfort or just difficult to drive?
Well, mostly to do with difficulty of driving. I mean, the top on the straights was pretty slick to the point where you could barely use even half throttle to try and stop yourself putting in the wall. But it's one of those things. I mean, when you've been dirt racing for as long as I have and learnt off the likes of Joel and all them, you kind of understand that, you can do this, actually get away with it. So I guess I'll call it the Joel Berkeley line, but we'll take it as it comes.
You did good to keep the car straight and not pick up any damage on that. So obviously you mentioned championship, it helps you out. You might be leading, you might be close to it. Either way, you're definitely closer than you were. Put you in good stead for that championship fight. With a few rounds still low, what are you highlighting as your best opportunity to consolidate or take the lead?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting last few rounds. There's a few rounds that I'm kind of not really looking forward to, and probably the likes of Kinetic are going to be strong at. But I feel like the next round at Spa and the Williams F1 car at the Belgian Grand Prix, and also probably Bathurst, and also maybe the classic US Grand Prix and the Lotus 49 at Watkins might be my best opportunities to try and build some form of points gap, or at least we'll keep that gap as close as possible. But yeah, for the likes of the Volkler Classic and the Silver Crown at Lucas Oil and the California 500 and the IndyCar at Auto Club is going to be interesting. I would not be surprised if the championship goes all the way down to the final race at Kelly. But yeah, we'll see what happens, and we'll try to get as many points as we can along the way.
Hey, we look forward to seeing how that championship battle unfolds. Of course, we are not picking any favourites, and if we did, it would not be for you. So, who do you want to thank? Who do you want to thank for helping you get it done here today?
Yeah, just first of all, shout out to the Fitstyle Motorsport guys for all their hard work over the last week or so to get used to all the dirt stuff. I've been trying to mentor them a bit, and they've been doing a pretty good job. They came with some okay results, considering they've never really done the stuff. Harold, unfortunately, ending up with that incident in the B main, but is what it is. And then obviously Matt getting not too bad of a result coming across the line, but got black flag due to passing on the inside. So yeah, unfortunate, but nevertheless. And then obviously our sponsors, Tech Sensors, Renville Harnesses, Demon Tweaks, Fight Collector Cancel, and also shout out to you boys for putting on an awesome broadcast, and also shout out to the boys at Slick Sim Sports for the awesome setup and hot doc.
Cameron Dance there, finishing in second place in the feature. And final driver interview of the night, the number 97, Danny Vassell, joins us. Welcome, Danny. It was a fourth place start for you and a podium finish, but you were mixing it up there in the lead too.
Yeah, a bit disappointed to come away with it, but that's the way it goes. I made a mistake, and Brett got by, and there was just no catching him after that. So it was good to salvage a podium at least.
Just take us through your philosophy of approaching this track and the feature, because we noticed that there were quite a few drivers who were committing more to the bottom, some were committing more to the top. So it looked like there were multiple ways to be quick around here, but the outside just having that little advantage.
Yeah, normally here you get a bit of a cushion in most dirt tracks, so it's that's normally the fastest way around, but it gets pretty hairy here with the way the cushion builds up, and it can be a little bit faster, but it is a lot harder to be consistent up there. So yeah, you either commit to one or the other, but yeah, don't get no man's land in the middle.
And how was the traffic in the middle? Because it certainly mixed things up for that race lead, brought you top three together, but looked like for the most part everyone was keeping it together.
Yeah, the guys that were going a lap down did a good job, not to be changing lines erratically and stuff. That's probably the best thing about Speedway, is getting in the lap traffic, and certainly mixes the race up and makes it exciting rather than just rolling around out in front.
Well, with a podium for you in this particular round of the Majors Series, what can we expect from you in future rounds this season?
Hoping I get some more time to do some more rounds, but yeah, definitely like the concept of getting in different cars and trying hands. So that's my strong point, so probably wouldn't expect any more podiums from me this season, but definitely keen to give a crack at a few different more cars.
Well, you never know. We will see. Danny, before we let you go, any shout outs, any sponsors? Who gets it done for you?
Everyone at Middle Finger Racing, great bunch of guys, all work hard together. This is much, I'm here because of them, basically. Trent does all the setups that I use, and he does a fantastic job. The sponsors, Snap-on Tools, Blacktown, WP Concrete and Virtual Car Art, Aussie Signs and Designs. My personal sponsors, Quick Time Clothing Co. and Andrews Crane Hire.
That's Danny Vassell there in the number 97, third place here at Knoxville in the Majors Series. Well, Ryan, that brings to an end proceedings for tonight. A fantastic round, action pretty much all the way through, and certainly a little bit of controversy to boot. But for the next round, we go into the old school V8 Formula One car at Spa-Francorchamps, the Belgian Grand Prix. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, from one type of high-speed action to a completely different type of high-speed action. Speeds will be much higher and the track much longer, but it should be a lot of fun. An iconic track for the Formula One cars. Can't wait.
Yep, and that's coming up on the weekend of the 23rd of August, and you'll be able to see all divisions of that here on the iRacing Esports Network, ourselves at SimSpeed broadcasting the international division as per usual. Well, Brett Wheeler came away with a fantastic victory here tonight, but crucially, Cameron Dance may have just gotten a grip on this championship again with that second place finish in the feature. It's all going to be to play for at Spa-Francorchamps in the Williams FW31, from one kind of high downforce racing to another. But the Majors is all about that adaptability. We'll see who's the best.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction. He's got everything outside of both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up top.
Oh my God. Oh. Big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go.
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?